Allison Honea, and I'm the Director of Education at Mosesian Center for the Arts and for Watertown Children's Theater. And today I'm going to share with you one of my very favorite stories, the Nutcracker. And the reason that story is so special to me is because I performed in the Nutcracker Ballet for many years, from when I was a little girl all the way up to when I've been an adult. So I've played almost every role in the show. So first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story, and then we're going to do a storytelling and movement activity together. So the story of the Nutcracker is about a little girl named Clara, and it's Christmas Eve, and her family is having a big party, and they're inviting over her godfather, Drosselmeyer, who is a really mysterious, sort of magical person, and he's also a toy maker. So Clara and her brother Fritz really love when their godfather comes to visit at Christmas because he always brings them really special toys. So this year he arrives and he gives Clara a really interesting toy, which is a Nutcracker doll. And so other children might think that that would be a really funny gift for a little girl because they're sort of ugly looking. They're for cracking nuts, right? So they have big teeth and they're soldiers and they are very stiff and made of wood. So that wouldn't normally be something that a little girl would pick as a doll she would want. But Clara loved it. And of course, her little brother got very jealous, as little brothers do. So he took it and he threw it on the ground and smashed it at some point. So Clara was very sad, but her godfather Drosselmeyer helped her fix it and she took care of it. And then after the party, when all of the guests left, Clara decided that she wanted to sleep next to her Nutcracker doll under the Christmas tree. So she leaves her bedroom after everybody's gone to bed and she goes down and sleeps under the Christmas tree. But when she wakes up, something very strange is happening. She feels like the tree is getting taller and she's shrinking down to the size of the other toys. And then suddenly some big rats come out and the Rat King is there and they are trying to fight her Nutcracker, who is now just as big as she is. And he's turned into a soldier. So the mice and the Nutcracker are fighting, and the Nutcracker's toy soldiers come out too to help. But the rats are really, really powerful, so it looks like they're going to beat the Nutcracker. But Clara does something that helps him win. She takes off her shoe and she throws it at him just as he's about to stab his sword into the Nutcracker Prince, and he turns around and walks over to Clara like he's going to get her, and that's when the Nutcracker is able to pull his sword and kill the Rat King. So the Nutcracker then transforms into a little prince. He was not actually a Nutcracker. He had been transformed into a doll somehow. So to thank Clara for saving him, he takes her on a magical journey to the land of the sweets where he's from. And we meet the Sugar Plum Fairy, who's like the queen there. And we meet all sorts of other really cool candy and sweets that have come to life. So there's chocolate and candy canes and coffee and tea and little marzipan, which is like sugary fruit type stuff. So it's really magical, and the prince tells everyone there the story of how Clara saved him and how they got there. And then at the end, she has to go back home, and it's up to you to decide if she was dreaming or if the whole thing actually happened. So that's the story, and what I'm going to teach you now is how the Nutcracker Prince tells his story to the people in the land of sweets. But in ballet, we usually don't use words. It's not like theater where we use movement and words to communicate a lot. In ballet, we usually only use our movement. So it's pantomime, right? Because usually you do have props sometimes in ballet, but you're pantomiming what different words are. It's also sort of like sign language, but it's a little different. So some of the things that we do in ballet a lot. It's sort of a language of what certain movements are. So for one, if you just are saying no, if you just shake your head no, like you would in real life, that's very small. And when you're performing in a ballet, you're in front of a big audience. So you want to make your movements very big and very clear and a little stylized too, so it's interesting to watch. So a lot of times if you're saying no, you're not just going to shake your head. You're also going to go like this and say no. Make it really big. You can try that one. Or maybe if you're trying to say that someone is beautiful or something is beautiful, something we do in ballet is go like this. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, try that one. Beautiful. Good. So you're going to use your body and your facial expressions to really show what words mean, but you're also going to make it look really elegant and extended because it's ballet. So if you're being the Sugar Plum Fairy or Clara, you might move really elegantly. And if you're the Nutcracker, you still are going to be really elegant, but maybe you're going to be a little more tall and princely. And the soldiers might move like that too. So you can decide who you want to be when you're telling this story. We're also going to do some movements to show the rats. That'll be fun too. But if you want to tell the story like you're the Sugar Plum Fairy or Clara or the Nutcracker or anyone else, you can. But I'm going to be moving like I'm the Nutcracker Prince telling the story, okay? So first, we're going to be the Sugar Plum Fairy. We're going to be asking, how did you get here? So we're going to go, you, here, how, okay? And notice I'm sort of doing a tendu in the back with my foot. I'm standing very tall with good posture like a ballet dancer. So you, here, how? And then the Nutcracker says, wait, and I. And then this movement here is what we're going to do to show I'm telling you my story. It's a fun little flourish like you're rolling your hands together. So just a second, and I will tell you my story. And then he's going to go, wait, wait, listen, holding up to your ear, listen, and I will tell you my story, okay? So now we're going to start the story. You're going to hear the music change a little bit. So pretend like Clara is over here, and you're going to go, she and I were sleeping. They were asleep. It was Christmas Eve. And she and I, and then we're going to say there was a magical journey because remember there was some magic happening. So to do that, we're going to do a swooshing movement with our arms. Good. And you can kind of move to the side and do a chasse or a gallop like that. And then she's still asleep while she was sleeping. And then suddenly I saw and heard rats. Good. And then you're going to do this silly little jump like you're a rat, or you can do whatever you want. You can make little whiskers if you want, or teeth. Good. So jumps. Good. And then the Nutcracker is going to say, I rounded up my soldiers. So you can do a soldier's salute. And then we're going to do some marches. You can march however you want to be a soldier. And then there was some battling happening. So we're going to do some movements like we're fighting with our swords. Okay? And then it's going to say, the Rat King drew his sword and I accepted, okay? Then they're gonna do some sword battle and you can jump around and you can move around and show that you might think you're gonna lose because the Rat King is kind of overtaking you. And then it's going to talk about Clara throwing her shoe. So she And you're going to pretend like you're grabbing your shoe and throwing it. And then and this is the triumphant moment, so really take your time here with the music and make it big. And I defeated him. And then you're going to do a big flourishy bow. Good. Great job. I hope you had just as much fun as I did getting to perform a little bit of ballet pantomime. And I hope you have a really safe and happy holiday season. From everyone at the MCA, we miss you and we hope we get to see you in 2021.